So you've built this beautiful e-commerce website designed with the utmost care, perfectly chosen fonts, beautiful graphics, colors, the images, everything is on point. But when users go to log into the site to track their orders, some other information, then they're presented with this, the default WordPress login page. It breaks the entire experience, right? Because it doesn't match the entire experience of the website. So in this video, let's fix that. In this video, I'm going to show you how to design a custom login page for your WooCommerce website in very, very easy steps. Let's go. So I'm inside the admin area of my WordPress website, and I'm going to give you two different ways to design beautiful login pages for your WooCommerce website. I'm going to also give you a third method, which is combining the first and the second method to use a hybrid solution. And I'm going to also tell you the advantages of using the third solution. All right. So let's start with the first solution, and that is by creating beautiful customized login pages with WP Forms. Yes, WP Forms technically is a form-based plugin, but if you decide to purchase the Pro version or if you invest in the Pro version, you also get some amazing features like creating beautiful login pages. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details about what WP Forms does because there's a lot of features to cover. What I'm going to just do is I already have WP Forms, the premium version, installed on my site. I'm going to just start demonstrating how to create a beautiful looking login page. So what I'm going to do is first go to WP Forms and not creating a new forms. First, I'll go into the add-ons section. Just reminding you, add-ons and of course the registration feature and the login feature or custom page feature is available in the premium version. So you have to purchase a plan and activate with your active license key. So what are add-ons in WP Forms? They are technically like plugins for WP Forms. So they're called add-ons and they help enhance the functionality of WP Forms. And because not everybody wants to use or needs to use all the features, it keeps the base plugin clean and small. So inside the add-ons, you'll see there are tons of different add-ons available which you can use to enhance the feature set of WP Forms. I'm not interested in all of these, but just the one, which is the user registration add-on, which you see right here. And what this module or this add-on lets you do is create customized login, registration, and password reset forms that you can embed anywhere on the site. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is click the install add-on, which will install the add-on directly connected from my account. It takes a few seconds. Let's wait for it to finish. So now the add-on is installed. Now we can start creating a form which will double up as the login form on our site. So what I'm going to do is go to WP Forms menu entries. I'm going to go to add new, which is adding a new form. And once the form creation option opens up, I'll be presented with a lot of templates. These are predefined templates I can utilize to create any kind of form on my site. But since I'm interested in creating a login form, instead of filtering out or browsing through hundreds of different templates, I'm going to just go to the add-on templates. And as you remember, I just installed the add-on for user registration. So it's going to give me three different options: user login, user password reset form, user registration form. So technically the method I'm going to describe will work for all three. So you can create a customized, beautiful looking login form, password reset form, and even a user registration form, right? So in this case, I'm going to just go demonstrate with the user login form. So I'm going to go to use template, which will just import the base template on my form. And since the login page just requires a username and a password, there's nothing much you want to do or you need to do, but you can still make some customizations if you want to. For example, you have the username or email and the password fields, and the button is submit. Let's change it to, let's say, login. So I'll click the submit button, which will open up the general settings of the form. And I have the submit button text here. So let's say I change this to something like login, and I can also change the processing text to checking credentials. So when I click the button, first I'll see checking credentials, and then I'll be logged in automatically. Checking credentials. All right. So WP Forms also has some other features which you can utilize. For example, if you want to send emails out to yourself when an activity or a form is submitted, you can do that. You can also have confirmations. That means when a user logs in, instead of directing or instead of letting them see the navigation or I'd say the admin area of your site, you can redirect them to the home page or the account page. That's also possible. So for example, default confirmation for this particular form is go to URL, and this is the homepage of the test website I have, which is perfect, right? Because I don't want users to log in and see the admin area because that might be confusing to users. I just want to direct them to either the account page or the homepage. And in this case, It's the home page, which is perfect. So you can configure it any way you like. So in the user registration section also, you can have this option. For example, if the user is already logged in and they open the login page, what happens? So in this case, they just see a message that, hey, you are already logged in, and just show a logout link. So this everything is already perfectly configured apart from a couple of changes we made. So let's go back to fields here. And once you've done everything, the confirmation or the button text has been customized. We can save the form. And what we'll do, now the form is created. Now we need to create a new page and we need to embed this form there, and that will become your new login form. Got it? So what I'm going to do is, instead of creating a new page, I'll just use the embed feature here, which will help me create a new page automatically. So I'll just create a new page and I'm going to just name the page as new login, right? New login. Let's go. So automatically a new page will be created for me, and this login form is automatically will be embedded on the page for me. So let's wait for the page to load, and I'm going to demonstrate a couple of additional features, or let's say what you can do on the page to match the branding of your website. So the page has now been created, and the WP form, or the form that we created with WP forms, has already been embedded. Let me change the title of the page to just login, because new login doesn't make sense for end users. And what else I'm gonna do is just demonstrate how would you do this manually if you already had a page. So if I just click here and I delete this, that means this is a blank page. You can use any page. What you'll need to do is embed the form using WP Forms WordPress block. So I'll just type in WP Forms, and in the forms, or this selector that you see here, you'll select the form that you just created, which will act as the login form. So for example, if I click here, the user login form is what the form that we just created. So I'll click it and it'll be embedded on this page. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Because we're using the block editor in WordPress, we can do everything that we want inside the block editor to completely customize the page any way we like. So if I want to add images, if I want to add text, or if I add or install add-ons for Gutenberg or the block editor, I can use those add-ons to even add enhanced elements on the page. For example, I have one of the add-ons for WooCommerce, or say one of the add-ons for the block editor installed on the site. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate how it works. For example, if I go here, let me add a container, which is more of a selection of like how I can add columns to the page. So let's say if I select this layout, and in this layout, I have a couple of options. I can add two different blocks. So instead of having this block here, I can add a WP Forms block here, which will just add the WP Forms on the side. So I can select this form and I can delete the form here. And let's say I'm not a great designer, but let's say if I wanted to add an image here. So I'll just go here and I'll say image. And in the image block, I'll just go to the media library. I think I already have an image here. This image works. I'll add this here. And of course, I can crop the image if I want. I'll just try and crop this if it works. Otherwise, just for demonstration, I think it's more than enough. But the idea here is this. Instead of having the default or just a blank styling, the Gutenberg or the block editor gives you a lot of control, especially with different add-ons, to customize and beautify the page, which I've just demonstrated here. So if I just publish this page, let's say, and I open this up in a new tab, you'll see how the page actually looks like. Of course, I haven't finessed the page, but still it gives you an idea of what the page can look like in just a few minutes of our work. Of course, I'm already logged in, so it shows that, okay, you can log out. But if I open this entire page in a new incognito window, you will see the login form working brilliantly. So let's wait for it to load. And now you can see the image and the beautiful looking form page. Of course, with a little bit of finesse, you can match the exact branding of your site. And let's say if I open the credentials up, I have the credentials for this website. If I try and log in, let me see if it works. And let's also copy and paste the password here. And let's log in. Checking credentials, this is what we configured. And now automatically I'm logged in and automatically redirected to the home page, which is also reconfigured. So it's also providing a bit of abstraction from the user that they have no idea that you're using WordPress. So if you go to login, it'll actually go to the back end of the site, because of course it's not been changed. The original URL of the page has not been changed. But now what you can do is just go to the menu of your site. I'm going to just demonstrate this right now. Let me just minimize this. So if I go to this page, I have this page. So I'll copy the URL. I'll go to the menu entry of my website, and on the top header menu where the login page is, I'll just replace this with this new page. So I'll go to appearance, menus, And you see a custom menu here or custom URL here, which is login with custom link. So instead of the regular URL for login, I'll just add this new URL which I just created. And I'm going to just save the menu. And once again, what I'm going to do is go to the incognito window. I'm going to close this first. And once I've closed this, I'm going to open up the website again in an incognito tab. So let me just copy the website's URL. And now since I have replaced the login URL, this login should also take me to the new login page. So once I click this, I'm already logged in because of course there's another session open, but you get the idea. Once I've changed the login URL here, so I can use this new page anywhere I like. And the best part about WP Forms is that instead of using it on a page, what you can do is you also use it in widget areas of your site. Let's say, for example, for particular areas, let's say, for example, you had a sidebar or you had the footer where you want to add the login information or you want to add the form for login, you can just embed the WP form there using the widget options inside WordPress. And that will also start acting as a beautiful login registration or login page for your WordPress website. So that's method number one, using WP Forms to create beautiful looking and customizable login forms. Let's talk about method number two. So let's talk about the second method to create beautiful looking login pages for your WooCommerce website. And the reason we need a second method is because the first method utilizes WP Forms, which is powerful, but it still uses the block editor, which leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to the design elements. So if you want to create really customized, beautiful design for your website, the block editor might not cut it in the design department. That's why I'm demonstrating a second method. And the second method, we'll be using a plugin called SeedProd, which is a beautiful, powerful, and one of the best page builders out there on the market. And what page builders let you do is design your page completely visually. And WP Forms, or I say SeedProd, has a lot of features. It integrates with WP Forms as well, but it also gives you a lot more features than just creating a page. So if you go to SeedProd's website, which I'm going to link down in the description, you'll be able to check out all the features. I have the premium version available, which also has some theme building features, which is not the scope of this video, but I'm going to demonstrate some of those features anyway while we are constructing the page. So I already have SeedProd installed on my site and activated with the premium version. So what I'm going to do is go to SeedProd first, go to landing pages, which is just a term for a page that users land on. And instead of trying to create a new page, you see some options already present here. So what SeedProd allows you to do is create a coming soon module or coming soon mode, where let's say your website is under construction. You can just create a coming soon page, maintenance mode. So let's say you're working on the site, maintenance page, a login page, which is of course what we are trying to learn here, and also a custom 404 page. So SeedProd allows you to design meta areas or complete important areas of your website as well, including the login page, which you can completely create right inside SeedProd. So what I'm going to do is let's enable the feature first, the login page feature. So what it says, create a custom login page for your website. Optionally replace the default login page. In the first method, we did create a new login page, but we didn't replace the original page. In here with SeedProd, you technically have the option of replacing the old login page completely. So let's set up a login page first. And what we'll do is start the steps to design the page, configure the page. Let's explain how it works. So what SeedProd does is it gives you first templates to choose from. Of course, you can design everything from scratch, which is the blank template option here. But let's say you find a beautiful looking login page right here. You don't have to do all the work, right? It's already created for you. For example, let's say this greenery login page matches the theme of the website that we are currently working with, right? If I click the magnifying icon, you'll see how the page appears on desktop. Let the image load. So this is how the signing page or sign up page is going to look like. Looks beautiful. What you can do is check out the mobile preview as well, which also looks good. So let's say if this is the page you're working with, you can choose this template, which will create or prompt you to enter a new name. Just for this demonstration, I'm going to do login SeedProd, right? The name is descriptive just because demonstration, right? So I'll click save and start editing the page. And what this will do is open up the SeedProd editor, which is one of the easiest editors to use in terms of drag and drop. Now, what you can do or what is available to you is complete control over what this page looks like. So if you click any of the elements on the page, let's say for example, you click here, you can change the headline, you can change the email address or change the fields, the labels, the placeholders. All the fields are completely customizable for you. Now, what you can also do is change this image. For example, if you want to change the background image, you want to add elements, you want to add headings. For example, if I want to add a heading, I can just drag it here, just place it somewhere, and I'll just notice where the options available. I can just place it here. And now I can start adding elements on the page. So complete control is available to me from whatever I want to do. And of course, we have tons of elements to work with. We can have videos, we can have images, buttons, text, lists, and advanced social profiles, social sharing, tons of options. Of course, not all of them make sense when it comes to a login or sign-in page, but you have these options available when creating any page on the site. So once you're happy with the complete page, you need to configure the page in a few different ways. First of all, if you don't want to replace the original login page, you can just save the page. Again, take the URL of the page, paste it anywhere you want this to be available to your users. But what you can also do is go to page settings, and you have some options that you can work with. So you can have the page title, you can change it, you have the page URL, you have the page status, which you will publish, or it will automatically go to publish. And you can also redirect the default login page to this page. So if you enable this feature, what will happen is if somebody actually tries to use the original login page, which is usually is example.com or just url.com/wplogin, then automatically we'll go to this new page that you created. But keep in mind that the password reset page and all those pages, they won't be changed automatically. But it's also, I say, a good level of abstraction if you want to do this. Otherwise, if your users are not tech savvy, you actually don't need to do this. So let's keep it without enabling this feature in this case. But what I'm going to do is go back to design, and I'm going to save this page. And once I've saved the page, I'll go back to exit the dashboard, and I'm going to demonstrate how the page looks like. The method number 3 I was talking about, technically the page login or login feature of the page will work exactly because everything is worked out. The form is created. You can just enter your credentials and start working out, right? But there's one interesting thing that you can utilize, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video, which we can combine both methods. And what this means is you can utilize SeedProd's design capabilities and WP Form's login form capabilities to create a third problem or third solution or a page which combines both of them. And the benefit of that is that once you've created a beautiful login page or a form that works with WP Forms, you can have all the design options in the world. But the form for the login still works. So you can still embed that forms in widget areas of your website, anywhere you like. Still have it in like the sidebar, the footer, or any other page that you like. You can utilize the form multiple times. So let's say if there's an account page or there's a public page that you want to create, you can still have the login page or login form there while utilizing the same design options of SeedProd without having to create 2 login pages. So just for an example, I'm going to demonstrate how it's going to work. I'm going to disable the login page just for a second, which we created. I'm going to create a new landing page. So I'm going to add new landing page. And once again, I'll be presented with the template options or templates. So I'll just find login once again. And what I'm going to do is just create the same page, or let's try and pick a different page this time. So what I'm going to do is let's pick this one. I'll just click this page and I'll say login SeedProd WP Forms. I'm going to save and start editing the page. And what I'm doing is creating a brand new page similar to what I did in WP Forms, but instead of using SeedProd's forms, I'm going to just add the WP Forms right here with the integration. So I'm going to click this, and this is a login form. It's already added via SeedProd, or SeedProd. This is coming from SeedProd. So if I delete this, the form will disappear, of course. But if I go here, I type in WP Forms, if I go to widgets, I'll find WP Forms here. And I can drag and drop it right here. The same thing that we did on the page when we were working with WP Forms is the exact same thing, but the interface is a little bit different. What I'm doing is selecting the form once again, which I want to embed here on the page. Of course, this is a signing or sign-in page. I'm going to use user login form. So once this is done, I'll just click the apply button, and now the template is now showing up here. So of course, I can modify the design for it to look a little bit better, but the idea here is very simple. Now, instead of using SeedProd's login form, we are using WP Form's login form. So once this page is saved, again, it will create a URL. So let's say, for example, if I click save and I go back to the dashboard, I'll publish the page as well. I'll close this for now. Just to give you an example, this is the page we just created. So if I just preview this page, or I just say, copy the link of this page, this is the URL. Let me just copy it, and I'll open it in a new incognito window once again. Resize, and I'll just open this login page in an incognito window. And now you see this is a beautiful login page that shows up here. And now this is coming from WP Forms, but the page design is coming from SeedProd. Best of both worlds, right? And of course, you can do the same thing that we did in step number 1. Just copy this login page URL. I'll close this incognito window. I'll go to the appearance, the menus of WordPress once again. I'm going to go to login, and instead of this, I'm going to just take this and save this. And once the page is saved, let's take the URL of the website, incognito window once again, because I don't want to be logged in. Open the website up. And now if I click the login link here on the main header menu, it's going to take me to the seed plot page, but with the form embedded coming in from WP Forms. And as I said, the benefit of using this approach is that I can still embed this form anywhere on the site without having to have 2 login pages, right? Best of both worlds, mind blown, amazing, amazing technique. So that's how you customize and create beautiful looking login pages on your WooCommerce website. Method number 1, using WP Forms. Method number 2, using SeedProd. And method number 3, combining the power of 2 powerful plugins to create a flexible solution that you can utilize on your website any way you like. If you have any questions about this entire video, leave that in the comments. If you enjoyed this, liked it, learned something new, make sure to leave a thumbs up. It helps us out. And of course, if you're interested in more tutorials, watching tutorials just like this one, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll catch you in the next video very soon. Take care.